Live from New Delhi, you're watching DD India Live, India's voice to the world. I'm Preeti Kaur. Coming up in the next 30 minutes. US House clears bill requiring weapon shipments to Israel. Gaza fire established in attempt to boost humanitarian aid. Suspect an attack on Slovak Prime Minister charged with attempted murder. Slovak Prime Minister Fico in serious but stable condition. In Italian Open, Nicolas Chiari takes down world number 8 Stefanos Tsitsipas to face giant killer Tommy Paul in the semi-finals. And India hosts Maiden Bharat Parv at the Cannes Film Festival. Poster and trailer of the upcoming 55th edition of IFFI also released. Let's get to updates on Israel-Hamas conflict. First, the US House of Representatives passed a bill on Thursday that would push President Joe Biden to send weapons to Israel. The Israel Security Assistance Support Act was approved 224 to 187, largely along the party lines. 16 Democrats also joined most of the Republicans in voting a yes. The act would prevent Biden from freezing any congressionally approved military aid to Israel, including 3,500 to 2,000 pound and 500 pound bombs that he has put on hold. Republicans accused Biden of turning his back on Israel after facing widespread protests. Republicans say Biden has no right to interfere with Israel's military campaign. Democrats also accused the other party of playing politics, saying Republicans are distorting Biden's position on Israel. Israel has vowed on Thursday to intensify its ground offensive in Rafa. Israel's Defense Minister Yoav Gallant said the military would send more troops into Rafa. Following a troop visit in Rafa on Wednesday, Gallant said hundreds of targets have already been struck and Israeli forces are maneuvering in the area. The Israeli Defense Minister also said that additional forces will enter the Rafa area and this activity will intensify in the coming days. The Israeli military said on Thursday that 2 Thai agricultural workers were killed by Hamas on October 7th and their bodies are being held by Hamas in Gaza. The military said the families of the 2 Thai citizens had been notified. The United States anchored a temporary floating pier to a beach in Gaza on Thursday to boost aid deliveries. The floating platform is ready to receive the first shipment of aid from a staging post in Cyprus, 200 miles to the north. U.S. officials say the first 500 tons of assistance will arrive soon, with thousands more to follow. By opening a route to deliver aid by sea, the U.S. hopes to combat the humanitarian crisis that has put hundreds of thousands of people at the risk of famine. But the UN and humanitarian agencies said that there were challenges still to be resolved.
We have hundreds of tons of aid ready for delivery and thousands of tons of aid in the pipeline. Some of this aid has already been loaded onto motor vessel Roy P. Benavides, which is currently off the coast of Gaza. To emphasize again, this is a mission to get humanitarian aid into Gaza, and an attack on those dedicated to this mission would jeopardize the life-saving aid needed for the Palestinian people.
The United Nations said on Thursday that it was still finalizing its operational plans to handle the distribution of aid once it comes off the pier. The United Nations stressed that delivering aid by land was the most viable, effective and efficient method.
We are finalizing our operational plans to make sure that we're ready to handle aid once the floating dock is properly functioning, while ensuring the safety of our staff. Community awareness and acceptance is paramount to ensure the safety and security of this operation. We're grateful for the efforts of Cyprus, supported by other member states, to sustain the maritime corridor as an additional route for aid to Gaza. And of course, we're thankful to the US for all the work they've done in creating the floating dock. However, getting aid to people in need into and across Gaza cannot and should not depend on a floating dock far from where needs are most acute. Land routes are the most viable, effective, and efficient aid delivery method, which is why we need all crossing points to be opened.
South Africa urged the United Nations top court on Thursday to order a halt to Israel's offensive on Rafa, saying attacks on the southern Gaza city must be stopped to ensure survival of the people in Gaza. South Africa's ambassador to the Netherlands asked judges to order Israel to immediately, totally and unconditionally withdraw the Israeli army from the entirety of the Gaza Strip. South Africa also asked the World Court to order Israel to allow unimpeded access to Gaza for UN officials, organizations providing humanitarian aid, journalists and investigators. South Africa was presenting arguments in support of its request in additional emergency measures on Thursday. Israel, which has denounced South Africa's claim that it is violating the 1949 convention as baseless, will respond on Friday. The officials from the Indian Embassy in Israel paid their last respects to Colonel Vaibhav Anil Kale, who lost his life in Gaza as his mortal remains were repatriated to India. The embassy officials were joined by senior officials from Israel's Ministry of External Affairs, Israel Defense Forces and the United Nations Department of Safety and Security. Kale died while traveling in a vehicle to a hospital in the Khan Yunis area from Rafa. According to the statement from the world body, Vaibhav joined the United Nations as the Security Service Coordinator and was posted in Gaza a month ago. Iraq has now officially requested the United Nations Security Council to cancel the UN mission in the country. Addressing the council on Thursday, Iraq's ambassador asked that the UN wrap up its operations by the end of 2025. At the same time, the UN reported that significant strides have been made, signaling that Iraq is on the rise. Jody Jacobs gets us more from the United Nations in New York.
In her report to the UN Security Council, Janine Hennis-Plaskert, the special representative of the United Nations Secretary General to Iraq, said that the country was a nation brimming with potential but still haunted by legacies of past turmoil. Hennis-Plaskert, in her report, said that she acknowledged that corruption, factionalism, impunity and armed actors remained significant hurdles for the country. The senior UN official expressed worry over a recent increase in unannounced executions under anti-terrorism laws, adding that the fundamental rights and freedoms of all Iraqis are yet to be fully safeguarded. Security Council members welcomed the developments in Iraq and commended the broader efforts by the government to strengthen public institutions and ensure political stability. In his address to the Council, the Iraqi ambassador to the UN reiterated his country's request that the UN's assistance mission for Iraq must conclude its mission by December 31, 2025, saying until then it must ensure it completes its outstanding work with regards to economic reform, service delivery, sustainable development and climate change. Iraq has now officially requested the Security Council to pass a resolution to respond to the Iraqi government's appeal. Meanwhile, the United States made it clear that the UN should continue to be involved in efforts to resolve all outstanding issues in Iraq, adding that it remains committed to working with the government of Iraq to strengthen and deepen a partnership that fosters a, quote, secure, stable and sovereign Iraq. Jody Jacobs in New York, reporting for DD India.
Russia and China have announced that they will deepen their already close ties as Russian president is paying a state visit to China. On Thursday, the two sides celebrated the 75th anniversary of formal China-Russia relations, with President Putin praising the warm and comradely talks with Xi Jinping. Dasha Chernyshyova gets us more from Moscow on this.
As Russian President Vladimir Putin is on a state visit to China, he says Moscow's practical cooperation with Beijing has reached impressive results. He stressed the importance of energy in bilateral cooperation, with Russia being a reliable energy supplier for the growing Chinese economy. Putin said in 2023, supplies of Russian oil, gas and coal to China achieved a record level. But as bilateral trade reached 240 billion US dollars last year, Putin noted development of other areas of cooperation, such as industry, agriculture. He said the two had plans to deepen ties in high technologies and innovation, as well as space, nuclear energy, and transport infrastructure construction.
The Russia-China relationship is not a temporary expedient and does not target any third party. Our cooperation in international affairs is one of the main stabilizing factors in the international arena today.
The two sides held talks in different formats, with delegations and tete-a-tete. Moscow and Beijing criticized the Western initiatives to seize assets and property of foreign countries and discussed international agenda, including the conflict in Ukraine. Putin arrived in Beijing early on Thursday for talks, and the two leaders signed an agreement to deepen mutual ties. Dasha reported in Moscow for DD India.
Donald Trump's defense lawyer on Thursday accused Michael Cohen, the trial's key witness, as an unrepentant liar and suggested that he fabricated testimony. Michael Cohen will be back for a fourth day on the stand when the trial resumes on Monday, setting the stage for closing arguments. On Thursday, he was accused by the defense lawyer Todd Blanche about his history of lying, his criminal record, and testimony that the defense called bogus. Blanche repeatedly attacked the credibility of Cohen, whose testimony about a $130,000 hush money payment to an adult star and his reimbursement by Donald Trump underpinned the 34 felony counts against the former president. The New York case, one of the 4 criminal prosecutions he faces, is likely to be the only one with a jury verdict before his November 5th election rematch with Democratic President Joe Biden.
Well, thank you very much. I think it was a very interesting day. It was a fascinating day. And it shows what a scam this whole thing is. I didn't violate any law. It was a scam. This case, it was going to be brought, which it should have never been brought, should have been brought 7 or 8 years ago. They didn't do that because they wanted to bring it right in the middle of the election, and especially since we're leading in every poll.
The man who opened fire on Slovak Prime Minister Robert Fico and critically injured him has been charged with attempted murder. Fico was hit multiple times in an attempt on his life that shook Slovakia and reverberated across the continent weeks before European elections.
Not hate with hate.
Slovak's Interior Minister Matas Sutaj Astok said a man has been charged with attempted murder who did not belong to any political group. The suspect acted alone and had taken part in anti-government protests.
I want to confirm that today the police are working with only one version of the attack, that the perpetrator is currently charged with the premeditated crime of the attempt murder, that we are working with only one version, that it was a politically motivated act.
President-elect Peter Pellegrini, speaking at a news conference, said that Prime Minister Fico remains in a serious but stable condition and is able to speak a little.
He is able to speak but only few sentences, and then he's really tired because he's under some medication, so of course it is very difficult for him. But I had the chance that I came in the right moment when he was able to speak with me a few sentences, but the situation is very critical and we have to give him a lot of energy and think and be positive.
Slovak news media have said the shooter is a 71-year-old former security guard at a shopping mall and author of 3 collections of poetry. There has been no official confirmation of his identity as yet. Police gave no details about their investigation but said they had boosted security at Slovakia's parliament and also around media offices and schools. Earlier on Wednesday, Sutaj Astok told a news conference that the attack was politically motivated. The shooting was the first major assassination attempt on European political leader for more than 20 years and has drawn international condemnation. Bureau Report, DD India.
You're watching DD India Live. We're heading for a short break, but after the break, political leaders sweat it out across the nation to woo the voters ahead of the 5th phase of polling scheduled on 20th of May. In IPL, Sunrisers Hyderabad becomes the third team to qualify for the playoffs. The Olympic torch relay pierces through the walled French city of Carcassonne.
Hype versus facts. In-depth news and analysis with experts who will help you decide why this election matters. DD India is the main election headquarters with numbers most accurate, data most reliable, and viewership across the platforms. Stay tuned to the Great Indian Election only on weekdays at 8:30 p.m. IST and 1500 hours GMT.
Welcome back after the break. You're watching DD India Live and I'm Preeti, and now we get to the latest in the world's largest democratic election in India. Campaigning is in full swing ahead of the fifth phase of polling on May 20th in India's general elections 2024. Leaders of various political parties are leaving no stone unturned to woo the voters. Prime Minister Narendra Modi held election rally in North Indian state of Uttar Pradesh's Barabanki. Prime Minister will also hold campaign in Fatehpur and Hamirpur constituencies later in the day. Prime Minister will also address a public rally in Mumbai South Central Lok Sabha constituency in the western state of Maharashtra. Addressing the rally in Barabanki, Prime Minister slammed Congress and Samajwadi Party over their vote bank politics.
कांग्रेस तो राम मंदिर पर सुप्रीम कोर्ट का फैसला पलटने की तैयारी कर रही है। कुछ लोगों ने यार ऐसा तो कैसे हो सकता है, भ्रम में मत रहिए। देश जब आजादी का आंदोलन कर रहा था ना, और देश के टुकड़े करने की बात आती थी, तो देश का हर व्यक्ति का नहीं यार, देश के टुकड़े थोड़े होते हैं, देश के टुकड़े होते हैं। हो गए कि नहीं हो गए? इन्होंने कर दिया कि न कर दिया? ये किसी भी हद तक जा सकते हैं जी। इनका ट्रैक रिकॉर्ड ही ऐसा है। इनके लिए देश वेश कुछ नहीं है भाई, उनके लिए तो उनका परिवार और पावर।
Indian Union Minister and Bharatiya Janata Party senior leader Amit Shah will also campaign in Uttar Pradesh's Amethi. He will also address a public meeting in Rourkela in eastern state of Odisha. He will also go to Jharkhand's capital, Ranchi. Defence Minister Rajnath Singh will address a public rally in Uttar Pradesh's Balia. BJP President JP Nadda will campaign in Odisha's Kantabanji. Former Congress President Sonia Gandhi will address a rally in Uttar Pradesh's Raebareli with Rahul Gandhi, Priyanka Gandhi and Samajwadi Party's chief Akhilesh Yadav. The All India Majlis-e-Ittehadul Muslimin or AIMIM chief Asaduddin Owaisi will also address a public meeting in Uttar Pradesh's Kaushambi in support of PDM or the Pichhda Dalit Muslim Nyay Morcha candidate Narendra Kumar Saroj from Kaushambi today. And from here, we turn focus to Malihabad, the largest mango belt in Uttar Pradesh. It is also home to numerous families who have been farming mangoes over last 2 centuries. They will be exercising their franchise on 20th of May. Watch this special report by DD India correspondent Tapas Bhattacharya.
The vibrant core of Uttar Pradesh's mango kingdom. Here, boasting the largest mango belt and a prestigious geographical indication tag, resides a community deeply rooted in mango farming for over 2 centuries. But amidst their pride, it lies a pressing concern. What are the challenges they face and what are their aspirations for the upcoming general elections? Let's dwell in this story.
Uttar Pradesh Malihabad is synonymous with some of the best mangoes not just in the country but around the globe. Here, generations have toiled the fertile soil to cultivate some of the finest varieties of mango known to man. For centuries, families have nurtured the land, passing down their knowledge from one generation to the next, producing delicious varieties such as dasheri, langda, and chausa. Meet the mango man of India, Haji Kalimullah Khan, whose love for this juicy fruit earned him Padma Shri. His love for the mangoes is what makes him grow over 1,600 varieties on his 8-acre land.
When I was a teenager, I had planted saplings of 7 different varieties of mangoes. This is all a gift from nature.
With depleting groundwater and infiltration of counterfeit pesticide, the very foundation of Malihabad's mango economy is under threat.
The whole world is now facing problems related to scarcity of water, as most of the rainwater is going into the sea. Earlier, groundwater level in Malihabad used to be 26 to 27 feet, but now it has gone down to 80 feet.
The main issues we face right now is the infiltration of counterfeit pesticides. If the government works towards curbing this problem, then it will be of huge help.
As elections looms, the plight of these farmers has seldom been a point of focus. Yet, their challenges resonate deeply as questions about crop damage and lack of development linger.
Amidst the backdrop of a global pandemic, the mango economy faced its toughest challenge yet. With trading restrictions and supply chain disruption, many farmers are now contemplating drastic measures to survive. As Malihabad grapples with these problems, one thing remains certain: the resilience of its people. With camera person God of Grid, this is Tapash Bhattacharya for DD India from Malihabad, UP.
The contest for Ladakh's lone parliamentary seat is on 20th of May, and that is a three-cornered one with only BJP, Congress and an independent candidate in the fray. Now, the BJP and Congress candidates are from Leh and the independent candidate is from Kargil, the two districts of Ladakh which are dominated by different communities. DD India's Gautam Roy caught up with Ladakh's Congress candidate Saring Namal, who has been campaigning in Kargil for the last 3 days, to find out how his campaign is going on.
In Kargil, we have the Congress candidate Saring Namal with us right now, campaigning here intensely for the last 2-3 days to talk to DD India about it. Welcome to DD India. What can you tell us about your campaign? How's it going?
The campaign is going on well. So we are working hard, traveling every nook and corner as much as possible and trying to cover as much distances as possible, because as you know that Ladakh is scattered far and wide. It's difficult to reach each and every people. We got hardly 10 to 12, 15 days, 14 days in fact. So yes, we are working hard on the ground.
And what kind of issues are you taking to the people?
Well, number of issues in fact. One of the major issues is, I think you know, that we have Apex and KDA, two major organizations in Ladakh, in Kargil as well as in Leh. We have an agenda with us, which we have already tabled with the Ministry of Home Affairs, and that is with the center. And that is the 4-point agenda, which includes statehood for Ladakh, the 6th scheduled demand for Ladakh, creation of one Lok Sabha seat for Leh and Kargil separately, and creation of Public Service Commission, and opening of more job opportunities for the youths of Ladakh. So these are the 4 major demands. Good news is that the Congress has come out with a beautiful manifesto, and which is being termed as a masterstroke by Rahul Gandhi and our team. Well, in that manifesto, if you look at the manifesto, we have promised in front of the people of Ladakh that we will be, if Congress comes to power, we will grant and declare Ladakh as a scheduled area, and we will include Ladakh in the 6th schedule of the Constitution. That's a very, very important and a major demand.
Thank you for speaking to DD India.
Thank you, sir.
And now we turn focus to updates from the world of entertainment. On day 3 of the 77th Cannes Film Festival, India hosted a Bharat Parv for the very first time. The event saw Indian filmmaking community gather and celebrate an important moment. DD India's Mundun Bhattacharya gets us more.
It was a gala evening for India at Cannes on Thursday. A fusion of Indian cinema, music, cultures and cuisine. And so, a celebration of India's diversity. Flanked by Indian celebrities, actors, singers and filmmakers, Secretary, Ministry of Information and Broadcasting in the Government of India, released the poster and trailer of the upcoming 55th edition of the International Film Festival of India in Goa, to be held from 20th to 20th November this year. Save the date poster and trailer of Waves, the first World Audio and Visual Entertainment Summit, was also released. Waves will be organized on 30th November 2024 alongside the International Film Festival of India in Goa.
It's only save the date, 20th November 2024, Goa. So you have the International Film Festival of India and you have the first of its kind World Audiovisual and Entertainment Summit happening in Goa. All of you esteemed guests, you are welcome to Goa and India.
Indian singers including Sunanda Sharma and Shan and 3 Gen Z performers made it a musical evening to remember. The food menu at Bharat Parv was specially curated too. It gave a taste of Indian culture to every palate. All in all, the Bharat Parv at Cannes celebrated the diverse tapestry of Indian cinema, its myriad tunes and cuisine inspired by all 4 corners of Bharat. The gala evening had all the ingredients of a mini India away from home. With cameraman YK Loknath, Munman Bhattacharya reports for DD India.
Alright, on to sports now. In Italian Open, Italy's Nicolas Jarry powered past 2022 runner-up Stefanos Tsitsipas in 3 sets to reach his first Masters semi-final in Rome on Thursday. Jarry will take on Tommy Paul on Saturday for a place in the final. American Tommy Paul has produced the biggest clay court result of his career at the Italian Open, outclassing 9th-ranked Hubert Hughes on Thursday to earn a spot in the semi-finals at Foro Italico. Paul broke the big serving Hughes 7 times, but also dropped his own serve 6 times. Paul also registered a straight-set victory over defending champion Daniil Medvedev in the pre-quarterfinals. In IPL, Sunrisers Hyderabad become the 3rd team to qualify for the playoffs after their match against Gujarat Titans was abandoned without toss due to incessant rain. The Olympic torch relay on Thursday pierced through the walled French city of Carcassonne, famous for its medieval citadel and watchtowers. French Paralympic long jumper Dimitri Pavadi and singer Olivia Ruiz participated in the 8th leg of the relay, which ended in Carcassonne, where enthusiastic spectators cheered and waved flags. All right, that's it in this edition of DD India Live, but let us know your thoughts on the news of the day. For those of you on the go, you can get all the latest news and updates from India and across the world on DD India mobile app. The app is available on both Android and iOS platforms. Scan the QR codes on these screens to download now. We'll be back with more news as it breaks here on DD India. I'm Preeti Kaur signing off, and from all of us here in Delhi, thanks for watching DD India Live.